All right. So for our portion of the science of longevity, here we have today for our ageless education of the event, we have Dr. Oskar Knapke. Knapik. I did my best, I promise. I practiced, but it is an independent scientist, psychobiosavernician, and founder of the Life Forever movement. Trained in complex systems research at Aarhus University, he created biomastering, the science of human coherence, and the Anthropos model, a unified human body model to answer why we age and die and how to reverse it. He is the author of Live Long to Live Forever. So please help me welcome Dr. Knapik.
Thank you so much for a very welcome introduction. I'm very happy and pleased and honored to be here and speak to People Unlimited, this topic. It's my first talk in the topic, so I'm very happy that I'm actually starting the whole thing here. So I feel I'm very deeply rooted actually in this People Unlimited concept from my very childhood. And yeah, so just to also some kind of disclaimer from my side. So this is not any medical advice and not any advice. It's just information collected for educational and entertainment purposes. And you are responsible for your actions, which you make based on this information. So that's just, yeah. Okay, so we can start, I think, with, like, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, the topic of the today's talk is if our cells constantly renew, why people still age and die. And that's actually very interesting question and very, very kind of actually, all of us would kind of ask it. But before I start, I would like to give the acknowledgement and gratitude and express my gratitude because to James Stroll and People Unlimited, because actually the whole thing started like 5 or 4 years ago when I found his book, Together Forever, which was translated into Polish, Everyone Can Live Forever. So they even changed the translation. So actually, yes. So actually this book was for me like really, it's changed everything. So I started to question. I'm very analytical. I have scientific background, analytical brain, but also on the other hand, I'm also very much into spirituality from my very childhood. So I'm very deeply in spirituality, and on the other hand side, I'm also a scientist and I'm a logical thinker. So that's actually, I started to question the things. So I started to look whether James was kind of what the things which he was referring to, if they have some kind of backup with the science. And actually, I discovered that yes, it is. They do have. So all those things are correctly from this way. No. Yeah. Okay. So yes, let's face the first. Yeah, let's try to answer the question that we have. So why do we age and die? And yeah, that's the actually first question, which I would like to address. So which way I should? This way? No. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Okay, so we're starting to answer the question. So I would like to start with something which is crucial. So we have to remember, and we have a lot of great people, great scientists, Nobel Prize winners, who actually say one thing, that the body is perfect. That's the main message. And I'm providing here a couple of quotations. One is from the Alexis Carrel. He's a Nobel Prize winner for 1912. So he says that the cell is immortal, and it's merely the fluid in which it floats that degenerates. So renew this fluid at regular intervals, give that cells what they require to nutrition, and as far as we know, the pulsation of life can go forever. So that's one thing. So then we have Linus Pauling. So one of his article for a newspaper, he stated very interesting thing that theoretically man is quite immortal, his bodily tissues replace themselves. He is a self-repairing machine. And yet he gets old and he dies, and the reasons for that are still a mystery. So today we are going to reveal this mystery and try to answer the question why these things happen, and answer the question that Linus Pauling has stated. And he actually spent 35 years on doing longevity research, so he knows what he's doing, what he's saying, yeah. So then we have Richard Feynman, so he's a great...
We call this for people hearing you online.
Oh, okay. Like this? Oh, okay. Okay, so then we have Richard Feynman, the third Nobel Prize winner. So he's a great physician, and he stated that there is nothing in the biology yet found that indicates the inevitability of death. That suggests to me that it is not at all inevitable, and that is only a matter of time before the biologists discover what it is that is causing the trouble, and that this terrible universal disease or temporariness of the human's body will be cured. So this says one of the most great physicians, in the world. So, okay, so we go next. So there is more, but I would like to, sorry. I would just only want to, yeah. Okay. No worries. Yeah, the changing of slides not really works nicely. Okay, let's see. Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you so much. So we have more quotations. Some of them that are super interesting. So we have, for example, Dr. Ilya Mechnikov. He is also a Nobel Prize winner, and he's a founding father of the gerontology. Yeah, so that's a very interesting thing. Yeah, and what he says that old age is an infection disease to be treated like any other. And we will be saying actually how this infection is happening. So that's actually I'll cover that in a few more slides. And then we have also more of the more current researchers like Venki Ramakrishnan, who says that aging and death are not inevitable. The fact that lifespan varies that much among animals made of the same stuff suggests we could do something about it. Yeah. Yeah, and then we have Dr. David Sinclair, which I actually very much like because he is actually saying the same thing as I'm saying. So basically, his point is that aging is a disease. Yeah, so that's also my point of view and my starting point, which I kind of use as the to build up on top of it. So I actually have two things. One thing is that the cell is immortal or has the potential to live forever, and the other thing that aging is not a normal condition. So it's not something which happens over the time. And yeah, let's move forward. And then we have, so actually we see from the previous slides that many great scientists, they say one thing, body is perfect. So we don't have to do anything with the body, so it's perfect. So the problem with aging or death, it's not in the body. Body, the hardware can go forever. So there's no problem with it. What causes the problems is the mind. So that's why actually Deepak Chopra came up with this book, Ageless Body, Timeless Mind. He stated in this book a quotation which is very interesting, that people grow old and die because they see other people grow old and die. And that thing actually is based on the teachings of Adi Shankaracharya, a very famous Indian philosopher. So who actually was saying, not saying directly this kind of thing. So actually, but his kind of concept leads Deepak Chopra to this conclusion. So that's actually his answer. So in some point we could actually finish the presentation right now because I answered the question. but let's move forward. So let's go deeper into the topic. Yeah, so, and actually what Deepak Chopra also identified, which is correct, that aging is not written in the cells. Aging and death are not written in the cells. It is written in the program that actually runs the cell. So the death belief, it's not a metaphor, yeah? So it's definitely something which is like causing the effect, which is death, yeah? And the same is with aging. So aging is also happening because of the program that people have, because they observe other people, they see that this is probably normal. But when we look at animals, for example, I was sending to Ilana today an example of a dog. So I said, look at the dog. Can you say how many old, if it's old or young dog? You cannot say it, you know? So her dog looks like 5 years, but it has 13 years. But this is the normal condition. So if we observe the nature, So we don't really observe that this aging. So it's something which is actually happening to people because people think this is how it should be, and they actually send those instructions to the cells, and they cause what they actually people think. So definitely it's a software. So the subconsciousness, the mind programming belief system, which is causing the aging and death. And we can also look at those things from look at the mechanism system, which actually can be written in the modern science language. So we have the belief, which causes the increase of cortisol, hypothalamic drift, mTOR activation, autophagy act, and deterioration cascade begins. So this is how we could explain this kind of things, which actually starts from the belief. So actually the software which runs the hardware is the cause of the problem. And so actually, that's actually why I came up with this new approach, which is interdisciplinary. So to actually address both of the things together, because actually there's no separation between mind and body. So we have to take this as the whole. So that's why I actually started to develop something which I call biomastering. Okay, so let's do one more round. So we look at this, why do people age? So actually, we think it's not the right question. So the proper question would be, because age is not something natural. So they're asking why we are sick, it's not really relevant. So actually, what we are rather asking for the reasons behind it. So because the thing is, that we have the skin which is renewing, the gut lineage is rebuilding, blood is regenerating, liver is healing, the bones are continuously reconstructing, yeah? So we are actually not a machine which actually wears out. So we are a system that continuously repairs. So it's something way much better than a machine and way much more. And as I said, body is perfect. So there's nothing wrong with the body. So yeah, and actually the real question should be actually, if the body never stops to renew itself, because that's how it is programmed. So the question is, not why life ends, but the question is what prevents the body from fully renewing itself. So, and the answer of the question is not in the cell, it's actually in the coherence, which I will be defining soon, which is the system that instructs the cell. And that's where the term human coherence arises. And actually what we are observing is the loss of the decrease in the coherence, which causes the aging and ultimately death. Oh. Okay. So we stop here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then I would introduce this concept of human coherence from different points of view. So how would I see it? Yeah, because we want to first understand the concept as it's quite new. So I would actually understand this concept as the state in which consciousness, regulation, and cellular life operate in full alignment. So we have this body, mind, spirit split, which is actually not split because at the end of the day, they are all together. But we can define some special state of consciousness, like a higher state of consciousness, and the optimal state which people could function if they will be in full coherence. And actually, we can actually think about flow, which would be the situation when the mind creates no resistance to life. Yeah, so it's a perfect situation. So there's no ego, no things which cause the resistance to life and which causes the problems with the hardware, or which would sense the wrong directions to the mind, to the body, which actually causes the aging and death. So that's the flow state. Yeah, so we want to have no resistance to life. So it's like always saying yes to life. It actually also reminds me about Jesus, because there's a quotation about Jesus, which says more or less like that he was only for yes. So he doesn't use no. He was only saying yes to life. Yeah, and that's the flow situation. So no resistance, because no creates resistance, and we don't want to have the resistance. We want to have it in full condition of the body. Yeah. Then we have embodiment. This is like the perfect state, I would say, which we could think about when we talk about the body part of this trinity, body, mind, spirit. So embodiment is to be fully and strongly in the body. So we feel very good the body, and that's so that we actually can feel everything inside. That's embodiment. Then we have the bliss, which would be more about the spiritual or soul part. It's actually, we can say that this is the joy of the soul, yeah? So those three things, when we think about it, they actually can describe the optimal, the best possible human experience we could have here, yeah? Because from all of these things, there on this happiness, joy, energy, and so on and so forth arises, yeah? So those from those three states. So then, yeah. Okay, yeah. So here, just very quickly, yeah, because I don't want to go very much in details because I'm sure how good I'm with time. But the thing is here, the main point here is that science can measure those things. So we can have an approximation or actually direct measurements, which can say something about human coherence. And in physics, the coherence describes the property by which parts of a system maintain stable phase relationships and can constructively interfere. Yes, this is the physical. So we have a physics which define the state of the coherence. And that kind of coherence, can be defined in different dimensions. So we can Thank you so much. Okay, let's go. About now? Okay. Okay, so yeah, so the main point of this slide is only that, we can measure in different dimensions, in different ways, with different biomarkers, with different machines, human coherence. Yeah, so we can have the measurements, and which can be more formalized with the use of the language, of scientific language. Okay. Okay, yeah, so this is the core discovery which we have, yeah, so that aging is not a failure of life. Yeah, so it's basically a loss of human coherence, and it causes a failure of regulation. So if the body is naturally regenerative, then aging cannot be explained by the damage alone. So something disrupts the system that coordinates regeneration. And here we are going to address this question, what is actually doing this disturbance? So we know this is mind, but we also can look at it from the perspective of biological coherence, yeah? So we have, from one hand side, we have something which is called biological coherence. So it's the precision in which biological signals travel intact and correctly interpreted across three layers of the living system, preserving its primary instruction. So the primary instruction of the human cell is to sustain life. So that's the primary instruction. Yeah. So there's no, cause aging, cause problems, cause disease. So primary instruction is to sustain life. So there is some other source of disturbance. Yeah. So at the full coherence, so the signals flow cleanly between layers. So every cell receives complete repair instructions. Yeah. So regeneration matches or exceeds damage rate. Yeah. As coherence decreases, so signals degrade between layers. So cells receive incomplete instructions, repair fails below the damage rates, and our disease, or the disease which we are interested to not have it, starts. Yeah, and then also the question is how the coherence is being lost. Yeah, so there is actually noise which enters to the system. Yeah, so it can be chronic fear, and source of chronic fear is of course the biggest source is death. Yeah, then we have the chronic fear that when we get older we will be weaker. Yeah, so that's also the aging fear and aging program which people have. Then we have toxins, we have sleep deprivation, and that things actually causes the signal quality degrades. And the feedback loops lose precision, and close-layer communication weakens, yeah? Because we have three layers of the system, of the human body, and then they kind of lost the communication between each other, yeah? So then the regenerative process receive corrupted instructions, so it's not receiving the instructions to sustain life, but if people have the beliefs that that you have to die or you have to get older, so then this disruption is introduced to the system, and then the coherence loss accelerates. So then the main point is that the cell has not lost the capacity to regenerate at any point. So it's perfect. Yes, as we have already covered. So the thing is that its primary instruction, is to sustain life. And this instruction can be overwritten, yeah? So by pollution, so for example, we have the toxins in the body or some kind of accumulation of things which we don't want. And the toxins could be also emotions, traumas, and other things which we have not addressed properly. So this is the pollution, but also by the belief, for example, that death is inevitable or aging is something natural, that deterioration is inevitable, yeah? So actually, by this belief, actually, this kind of whole regeneration stops, yeah? So that's actually why people age, yeah, and ultimately die, yeah? Okay. Okay, so we have, so yeah, I'm kind of, what I build up is like a layer system of the human body. So where we have the operator, we have regulator, executor. So operator is something I would call probably referred to as a mind or subconsciousness. So something which actually gives the instruction, which is to the body, which is based on the belief system, on the emotions, traumas, everything which actually have been experienced. Then this is the operate and gives the instructions what to do, yeah? Then we have the regulator, which we have the, where we have kind of hormones there. And then we have the executor, which is the cell and what is there, yeah? So we can have, so at the operator level, so we have the beliefs, emotions, and dev script, which is running out for most of the people, then, which causes the chronic stress. And actually, by the fear, the nervous system is switched to the protection mode. And that's actually stops the regeneration, yeah? So that's actually how the death program, it's so problematic, I would say. And it's the first thing we should address in order to be really fully healthy, yeah? And be fully alive, yeah? So that's the main point here. So which causes the problems to the regulator and to the executor, yeah? So 3 layers and one living system. So yeah, and so this is one more time the loop. So it starts with the chronic fear, which is caused, for example, by the death belief, which increase the cortisol, which causes the mTOR activated, ACF degrades, bioelectronic communication weakens, and regeneration fails, yeah? And then aging starts, yeah? So because of that we have these 3 layers, so we have to address each of them simultaneously. And actually what is available right now, so most of the people, I mean, most of the approaches we have, they kind of treat the body separately. So they separate the body from the mind and from the spirit, which actually at the end, it's not proper because those 3 parts are inseparable. This is just one thing, you know, which we just for the purpose of some kind of classification split it, but ultimately they are just one. So but none of them just see the body as the whole one, yeah? So that's why actually I introduced new thing, which I call biomastering. So biomaster is someone who is a master of the life. Yeah, that's the main message. So I want people to be master of life, and to have this happening. So I had to combine the ancient teachings from the spirituality with the modern science, and then it actually arises thing which is kind of combination, I would say, with spirituality and science, so that we can speak each of the language. So for me, it's not a problem to speak in the language of spirituality and speak in the language of science. So it's not a thing. But at the end, this is actually what was in the very much past. Yeah? So people had just one science. They called sacred science, which actually combined 2, spirituality and science. So there was no separation between science and spirituality. And that's why actually, I actually even call sometimes this sacred science because of that thing, yeah? So this ancient wisdom, they had this answer. They knew these things. The modern science has the mechanism. So that's why actually we speak both of the languages. So then, actually what this approach, which I'm kind of, so what I actually did is introduce a new field. That's why I actually came up with a new name, because it integrates many disciplines. We have biology there, system biology, neuroscience, psychology, physiology, neuroimmunology, cybernetics, complexity science, bioelectricity, and probably even more. So because that is how it has to be. Because if you look at different sciences, and that's actually where I started. So the different pieces of puzzles that are in different fields. Yeah, we want to cover everything, because human is like, as I said, this trinity. So we have body, mind, spirit. So in order to cover everything, we have to go into many disciplines. And then also there are sometimes, very often, there are some contradictions which we have to come up with, so I'll deal with, yeah? And that's actually why I started to write this book, because I started to see many contradictions in the science. And that's why actually this book started. So for example, about the Hayflick limit, there's a lot of contradictions. So, and actually it's addressed for that it's not, actually not a limit at the end, yeah? So it's limit, which is illusion of a limit. And I actually explain why it is that, yeah? And then this biomastering is like a unifying concepts which no single science had name. So we actually are very much practice-oriented. So we want to be in the state of the flow, embodiment, and bliss, yeah? And use, let's say, use the scientific biomarkers that we actually checking that things, and that body actually keeps saying yes to life. Destination is become biomaster, so master of life. And yeah, and this is how it is actually built. So there is something I would say very unique for this approach, because I came up with a model which integrates 5 different models of the body, which I called Anthropos model. So we have a model of how the human body functions, which is based on the psychocybernetics. We have this split into operator, regulator, executor. Then compass is live long. So the first point, that's why I actually call this book Live Long to Live Forever. So the first point is to restore the system and rebuild the coherence, so actually improve the health, yeah? Then we live fully, where we have the state of flow, where mind creates no resistance. Embodiment we have also, so we are fully in the body. We have bliss, which is the joy of the soul. And because of that, live forever comes out of it as a natural consequence. Yes, because we are so happy and we are so enjoying life that we want to keep on continuing, yeah? That's the main point. And that's the destination, so the biomaster. So master of life, who actually a human being who has restored full biological coherence across all 3 layers and lives as the full expression of what life is designed to be. Yeah, it's actually a way of being. So it's a continuous experience, continuous journeys, because we have to keep on going, yeah, as life goes. Yeah, so yeah, that's the whole that's the biomastering. So map and the compass. What's that? Okay. Yeah, so that's actually the, let's say, more or less the summary. So live long. So this is why because we need to have time in order to restore the coherence and improve the health. Live fully. So this is the state in which we would like to continue living. And then a natural consequence of it, live forever. So live long to live forever. And so forever is actually not a goal. It's actually, it's something which happens when you stop dying from inside. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. So we're actually more or less at the end. So actually, yeah, what I wanted to say here, yeah, that's the last slide. Yeah. So what I wanted to say here is that James kept the fire of physical immortality for over 50 years. And what I came here to actually add additional wood to this fire and invite everyone to the fire of transformation. And for those who are ready, for those who are not ready, there is a huge feast around, so they can pick up whatever they want, and join and go to the fire when they are ready. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you again, Dr. Knapik. So we have time for some questions. All right, let's start with James.
All right, good presentation. You have done a pretty amazing program here, very impressive. So you mentioned in the first chapter of your book about a jellyfish that I think the way you put it, and that's it's true, that it's only species, only animal that science actually recognizes as immortal.
Yep.
And I'd like you to talk about that a little bit, because you're saying in your book that it's immortal, and when it's ready, it doesn't struggle per se. I guess that's the term I would use to stay immortal, per
Yeah.
se. Once it depletes its energy, per se,
Mhm.
it goes back to its origin, the bottom of
Yeah.
the sea, and then it resets itself
Yeah.
to zero.
Yeah.
That's pretty extraordinary. It resets itself.
Mhm.
And then it comes back and involves itself in life again. It doesn't struggle with life. It goes and resets itself. Could you talk? I think that's
I can actually
pretty powerful
yeah.
message to all of us.
Thank you so
So
much
what-
for this
yeah.
wonderful question. So actually,
Yeah.
I want to add more on top of this. So this example is a great example for us, for human beings. We don't have to go back to the to the childhood to become baby again, and we can just stop at the adult form. And how to do it? And in India, they have a technique which is called Kayakalpa, and they actually have this knowledge for many years. So what they do to actually get the same type of reset as the jellyfish is doing. So what they do, they go for 3 to 9 months into total darkness. They get special drugs, special medicine, which is like called rasayana, which has some substances which help the body to restore. So the most powerful rasayanas are actually made of metals, which is very interesting, like gold or even mercury. So they have technique to make the mercury digestible. But the thing is, after this 3 to 9 months in total darkness, you return 20 to 30 years younger. So people get new tools. They actually can totally renew. And for them, it was very natural. So they have this knowledge for many years. So it's not if I speak about this to Indian people, like, yes, we know this. That was actually available always. So people can also have similar recovery as the jellyfish.
Testing. Thank you. So, so you're in the beginning of your presentation throughout it, you're talking about the body being perfect, and it's really the mind that defeats us. So you're using the word coherence.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that fundamentally, I said relative to consciousness, that you're being conscious? Is that part what you're saying here, or what do you mean by coherence completely? Because there's a lot of discussion around consciousness and being conscious of how you move, what you do, not just falling into certain death traps per se. Is that kind of what you mean by that, or what do you mean by that?
Yes, coherence, I would say, is the alignment between body, mind, and spirit. Yeah, so that they are all in the optimal conditions. For mind, it's the flow, which actually the mind then causes no resistance to life. Then for the body, we have the embodiment. So we have so strongly, deeply rooted in the body so that we can feel everything. Then we have the bliss, which is the state of the soul and the let's say the consciousness part behind it. Yeah. So then, the coherence of the optimal full coherence will be this state, which is like a desirable for us. And then how it is connected to consciousness. Actually, all these teachings, like yoga, for example, so they're about reunion with the body and spirit at the end. Yeah, so that's the ultimate reunion we want to have. So actually, that everything leads to one thing: to the full to be in the state of the full coherence. So people can do it on different ways. There are different yogas. Yeah, people can go from up to down, so they can increase the consciousness. So then, from consciousness, because everything arises from the consciousness ultimately. So then they can have perfect body and everything just by increasing and extending their consciousness. Or they can do exercises like hatha yoga, which they can actually go from the body part, so prepare the body to be the best place for the soul to live. Yeah, and that's how it's connected to consciousness, I would say. Yeah, so we have.
Yeah, I think Leonard Orr also spoke on that same level, and so in one sense, the coherence concept is like consciousness, because the consciousness movement is about integrating all the different faculties.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Let's say Jean here, please.
So in the beginning, when you were talking about the different areas, you said it was measurable scientifically. Do you have those measurable devices in place, or how is it measurable? If you're in the flow or not in the flow, or if you have history, or the different areas? How's that measured?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah. So as I said, there are different ways of measure the state of the human coherence. I would refer here just for the heart math. For example, they have the device which actually measures, which they call something which they call actually human coherence. I look at this at a bit broader perspective. So from my perspective, their measurements, which are based on HRV, they should be kind of change on we could add on top of that. So, but yeah, there are different ways which we could think about measurements of that kind of things. Yeah. So yeah, but I would just here refer just to one thing. Yeah. So this heart math, which actually is very much about the coherence between between the mind and heart. Yeah. So which we actually, it's something which we are very interested in. Yeah.
Here.
Thank you. It was an amazing presentation. First of all, thank you for putting all this effort in with the research. What you come up with is the data and facts from 1902 until now. It's really, thank you.
Thank you so much.
My question is, how much do social connection with human beings affect the flow, actually all three levels in your model?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good question. Yeah, because from one hand side, in this model which I'm presenting, so you can be living alone and be fully present and be in the full aliveness, which actually is kind of expressed by flow, embodiment, and bliss. Yeah, so this is the condition when you are like a full person, so you don't need the interactions so you are very happy by just being alone, but you are also very happy when you're in the connections with others. But of course, we have a lot of social proofs that that these social communities, they improve those things. Yeah, so that's actually why in order to happen this kind of thing, so I would see people to have a community around it. Yeah, like People Unlimited, which would be the best one, I would say. So let's make this trial that you are started in physical immortality happen and be true and be successful. Yeah, because this is what we ultimately want. So community is very supportive, I would say, because it increases. So the connections between people, they very much help with especially at the beginning stage, I would say. Yeah, but also, yeah, we can choose.
Anyone else?
Excellent presentation. Wow. Very meaty.
Thank you.
So comments sort of on top of Jim's questions. Is the coherence, full coherence, is that like, this sounds really weird. Is that like a single phase then? Moving from like multi-phasic, like is each aspect of what you would bring in alignment, is it coming one frequency, one phase? Is that kind of what you're saying with it? Because you're aligning everything, right? You're talking about, I mean, full biological coherence is a full alignment, right? Okay.
Yes.
I just was curious because, I mean, I think that's part of some of the alternative approaches, the mind, body, spirit, chakra movement. My question though is, so there's obviously multifactorial aspects of aging, cellular senescence, toxins, epigenetics. How do you approach the Hayflick effect with telomeres? And how do you approach bringing into alignment DNA replication errors that contribute to aging?
Okay. Yeah, thank you for a really deep question. Yeah, first about the alignment. So I would see this like, actually there are three things, like we have this body, mind, and spirit. And mind is the one which causes the problems at the end. Yeah. So because the spirit and the body, they want to be together, and they want to have this union all the time. That's actually why, because we are talking about Jesus a lot. So let me just refer one thing. Yeah. So we have in the Bible that you should be like saying yes when you mean yes, and no when you mean no. And the rest of it is comes from the evil. Yeah. So the evil which actually causes the problems with DNA, with problems with replications and other things. Because see, on the other hand, we have from the New Testament, we have this quotation that Jesus was only for yes. He was not saying no to anything, you know. So that at the very, let's say, higher level, when all these things really matter, so when we have this, when we want to address the mind thing, and have the proper instructions, which the mind sends the proper instructions, not the disturbed one that you have to age, you have to die, and that kind of things. We don't want that. So then, when I lost the track. Yeah.
So the mind prevents DNA replication
Yes.
from having
Yes.
errors.
Everything.
again?
Everything
I mean,
at the end is about.
they're not just random
Yes.
errors that are going to just
Yeah,
happen.
yes.
You're saying there's purpose.
It's actually at the end, it's a matter of communication between cells and what the body receives from the outside and within the body. So this is the, let's say, the higher level that we can have is it's actually, and what is causing those things, as I was presenting, is actually the mind, yeah, which causes that kind of problems with the replications, even with the words what we use, because this is the language of the mind at the end. So when you say, for example, healthy aging, so how can you be healthy and you can age? Yeah, so yeah, and then, for example, reversal of aging. So reversal would mean that you have the assumption that so that in the subconsciousness, your belief is that you have to reverse something. So something happens naturally. So you think that aging is happening naturally, so then you have to reverse. Yeah, those are the things. You know, those are the instructions which actually ultimately causes.
That's a good point. Actually, I like that. Did you bring books?
I bring chapters, 3 chapters, so you can read the first chapter of the book. You are also more free to look at the website, which I presented there. So there's a way to check the coherence based on the survey. What else? And book is coming by the end of August, so hopefully before the Radfest. And what else? Yeah, so that's my invitation to all of you to the journey of becoming Biomaster.
We have time for one more question. Elena.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to read your first chapter this morning. It was really easy to read, and I know you have more copies, so maybe those of you want to read. It's great. It's a great chapter. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming to us. And yes, and yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And it was really stirring around. I told James this morning, because I was stirred by Claudia's opening, and I said to him, aging, like talking about I'm aging, I'm so sick of aging, this aging is so disgusting. It's like an old thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I felt. Yeah, it's like we are ready to come from a new thought.
Yeah.
I think that jellyfish does that.
Yeah.
I think he starts fresh. He starts, not working here. I'm stressed. Something's going on. I gotta start the button again and refresh. And yeah, and so I told James, like, I'm excited about new thoughts. How we approach something in our flesh in a fresh and a new way. And that's really it's so true that, yeah, people are dying because they see other people dying. The conversation around aging.
Yeah,
like
all the time.
My clients, I mean, it's crazy. Like it's actually, to me, like it's actually already crazy. It's actually already crazy. The conversations that mostly the women that I trained, they're 40, 50, 60, whatever, and they're like, it's all around aging. They're all like, and they're gorgeous, like, and they're all deteriorating, and something hurts them. Oh, it's my age. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I would like to refer to this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ilana, for that. So actually, I'm not sure if I made this point quite clearly. So the thing is that aging is not connected to time. So that's the thing we have to remember. Yeah. So it's connected to different things which they happen in time, but it's not ultimately connected because you don't age because you just get older. You age because you get some accumulation of toxins in the body, you have wrong belief system and so on and so forth. That causes the thing. And the thing which you are referring, yeah, so that people observe people aging and dying. So they think that this is how it is. Yeah. But we know that it's not. Biology is perfect. Mind causes the problem. We have to face it at the first point. Yeah.
Testing. So we're dealing within a toxic environment, but you're saying, which I agree with, that's what you're saying, is that even with the right mindset can offset that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't have to be necessarily subject to the toxic environment. That
Yep.
we actually believe that
Yeah.
that the toxic environment can
Yeah.
take us down.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
It's the
the
same thing with the aging concept. It's an old concept that we shouldn't be relating to. Just because you're going through things in your body does not mean you're aging.
Yeah,
But
of
we
course.
identify with that. And
Yeah.
then that is off, then that supports that concept.
Yeah,
that
because-
supports the aging.
Yeah, people see, I mean, that they have this belief system that with age you get weaker. Yeah, for
Yeah.
example, yeah, that's the problem.
Exactly.
That's the problem because they see, oh, I'm 50 years or 60 years, 70 years, so then that's how I should behave. But there was an experiment which they did actually, a scientific experiment, which I don't remember exactly the details, but the point was that there was they took some old people, probably around 70 years old, and they asked them to behave like they were like 20 years younger. Here you have.
They remodel
no,
themselves.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So as you know, I mean, you've been around us enough to know that, Joe uses the coins the phrase that we're like a human trials organization here. So we question, like you said in your comment, and I love that you, in your first slides here, that you question everything. And so, it's something very important that we do. We open ourselves up, we expose ourselves, we question everything. I tell people all the time, question me if you feel like you challenge me, whatever. And so along this line, I see you have a program here to take on my question in that, and we can go more depth in this as we go along here today. I have other things that I'll talk about too, relationship, because you've stirred a lot and it's beautiful. You're brilliant, really. And
Thank you so much.
And along with this though, is what would be concerned about is this program really sustainable for the general public? In other words, how many people are going to actually do that total practice? All right.
Yeah. So
will it get us there, or is there a shortcut? Fundamentally. Okay. So
I see some shortcuts.
yeah. So that's when I talk about the reborn experience.
Yep.
But it's like the reset. But I've been in, as you know, I've been in integral yoga. I've been through a lot of, and I see the same thing all the time. Great practices from yogis and so forth, but very few of the public can do it, sustain it. And whether it gets there or not, maybe a couple of people, whatever, Leonard Orr used to always say there's immortals somewhere in the hells and so forth. I never met them, but that's another thing. So that's what I seek, is that sustain. That's what I'm looking for. You have a lot of things you've brought out here that have stirred me, and in reading the first chapter, Lana read it to me. And this is my question that we'll go delve in deeper today. I'd like you to be a part of that with us in this discussion as we move along. What is it that we can really create and have that really is sustainable and brings the joy, I'll say, in some type of spontaneous generation, of not having to work hard at it to get there? Because my experience is we never get there that way. So that's the question overall that we'll explore more today. So
okay. So sounds very good.
And I just want you to be clear on that, that you've done great work here, but we are about going to the depth of what really works, what's really real, and what's not. So,
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, actually, we are about to start the first. We were looking for founding, let's say, biomasters.
Yes.
For the first who want to join.
Yes. Can we be born into
the
biomasters?
Peter Born.
So we'll talk about that.
But we don't call it even program, we call it a journey, because it's a lifetime experience.
Yeah.
So because we want to be, we want to keep continuing, so there's no end.
Some people like journeys.
Yeah.
Some people like journeys.
Yeah.
I like just getting home. So, but we'll talk about that.
Yes.
Too. So,
Yeah.
okay.
So like, there's like a train, so they can take any station, go out any station they want. Yeah. So they can keep continuing with the train of life that we are here building, and which is it starts from the decision to say yes for life. Yeah.
Thank you again. Thank you again, Dr. Knapik.